At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. We bid you welcome. We do not ask what you believe or expect you to think a certain way, but only that you try to live a kindly, helpful life with the dignity proper to a human being. Welcome all who believe that religion is wider than any sect and deeper than any set of opinions. Welcome all who might find in our friendship strength and encouragement for daily living. Good morning and welcome to the Universalist Unitarian Church of Farmington. Thank you for spending your Sunday morning with us, whether enjoying the service in person or watching online. My name is Ellen Greenya, and I've been a member at UUCF for a little over 4 years, and I do thank you for joining us on this beautiful, crisp Sunday morning. This morning, we are fortunate to have guest speaker Gregory Smith with us today. I will tell you more about Gregory later in the service. We also welcome returning guest musician Christina Dragone, who is filling in for our music director Diana Munch. I'd like to extend a special welcome to any visitors today. After the service, we invite you to stay for coffee and conversation downstairs in our reception hall. Religious education classes are being held in the RE classrooms during the service. An usher can direct you to those locations if needed. Joys and sorrows will be shared later in the service. You can come to the microphone or text your name and a joy or concern to the phone number listed on page 2 of the order of service, and I'll get it on this pad right here. Please take a moment now to silence your phones, but don't turn them off. We encourage you to share your presence here on social media. Please join me in stating our mission, which can be found on the second page of the order of service. We seek answers everywhere, include everyone, and live with compassion. Do we have announcements? I know we have a few.
Good morning, everyone. Is it on? Yeah. My name is Karen Duguay, and I'm the fundraising chairperson, and I'm here for your weekly auction update. Well, today is October 23rd, and the deadline for getting in all your donations, whether they're live or silent. Tomorrow, the silent auction will go live on Bidding Owl. To participate, all you have to do is go online through your e-blast and follow.
It's not you. It's not you. They're working on it.
You guys understanding? Is it coming? I can't tell if it's coming across.
It's okay. You have a lot of feedback today. Huh? You have a lot of feedback, Karen. I don't know what's
Yeah. Anyway, so make sure you go online and bid often and just follow the prompts. It's real simple. A few other things to remember. You will be asked for an access code when you go online to to set yourself up for bidding. And the access code is super easy to remember. It's UUCF, all caps. Okay? We will be selling raffle tickets for all the baskets and there's a couple of larger items also that will be raffled. And when you go on the silent auction website, the bidding owl, you'll be able to see those. So you can buy your tickets there for $5 each. Buy as many as you like. They will also be sold at the live auction. So you can buy them either time. Now, there will not be a way for you to pay for your items at checkout on the bidding owl. You will pay for those items when you attend the auction, when you check out with your live auction items. So if you aren't going to the auction and you bought silent auction items, I'm not really sure how that works. How does that work, Mark? Do you know? Do they have to pay for it live, in person, if they have a silent auction item?
Yeah.
Or have somebody pay for it? Okay,
Yeah, we always add it on to the final.
yeah, okay. And that will be it. So I hope if you haven't registered to attend the auction, you do so. It's a lot of fun. It's the biggest party of the year. Get your glad rags on and get your stomping feet going, and we're going to have a good time. So come on down. Thank you.
Hello, Katie Coker for the RE Committee. Next Sunday after service is our Treats on the Trail event. Yay! Oh, okay.
Very exciting.
If you signed up to be a trail spot or a booth spot, please remember it is next Sunday after church. You will probably want to come before service to set up. If you signed up to bring decor or treats, please bring those next Sunday. If you have them today, we can store them in the RE office. After service, everyone is invited to party with us. Adults as well can walk the trick-or-treat trail if you would like. We will also have free cider, donuts, and coffee in the parking lot so everyone can hang out. Please come in costume if you want to. Reverend Karen is cool with everyone wearing their costumes in service, so you can wear them all day. And we look forward to seeing you guys there.
Good morning. Membership, there's a bunch of things going on, but the one I'll talk about are chalice circles. We started them up again this last week. They're great sessions. It's typically 6, 8, 10 of us get together, talk about a topic for the night. Jesse, I'm going to slander the name of the topic this time. The seeds you plant, something of that sort. That we're going to be talking about 2 o'clock Tuesday at 7 o'clock downstairs. You can also zoom into the meeting. Thanks.
And also from membership, we have coming up in November our UU and U classes, where you get to learn about UU and you. Aptly named. That'll be led by our very own Reverend Karen and our very own George Rorick. And that first session is coming up November 5th. That'll be after service on November 5th, Sunday, in the Marge Brown Room. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kelly Petrie, not a part of membership, but speaking on behalf of membership. Apparently, y'all are coming to my show that I've directed. It's called The Murder Room. It's very fun, very silly, and there's going to be like a swing dance party afterwards. November 3rd, Friday, November 3rd. Anything else they should talk to you about tickets, or they should just go and get tickets, or see this is... Tickets are on your own. Okay, great. Tickets on your own. There'll be something in the e-blast. And like I said, it's really fun, very silly. high energy. I feel like this is really tall today. Oh, yes. The name of the theater. Thank you. It's with Livonia Community Theater. And it is at the Rosedale Garden Church off of Chicago near Merriman. Well, between Farmington and Merriman, right kind of in the middle and on Chicago Road. Oh, what? It's West Chicago. Yeah, I've been going there a lot, so yeah. But if you know better than I do, then okay. There are, not the one on Plymouth Road, not the one on Plymouth Road. Yes, it's not the one on Plymouth Road. It's the one on Chicago. Yeah, so don't go to the one, thank you. Don't go to the one on Plymouth Road. Go to the one on West Chicago Road, please. All right, and like I said, it's a lot of fun. There'll be like refreshments and stuff afterwards and some music and fun time. Come, yay!
Hard act to follow, Kelly. Please check the UUCF website or emails for other announcements about upcoming events. 7:30. At 7:30, apparently, on November 3rd. Go there for my birthday, even if I'm not there. Even if I'm not there. Anyway, please rise as you are willing and able for our hymn from the Gray Hymnal, number 124, Be That Guide. Be that guide whom love sustains. If there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. If there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. If there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. If there is to be peace between neighbors, there must be peace in the home. If there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. Gregory Smith, a dedicated resident of Farmington, Michigan, shares his life journey with his beloved wife, Dawn Smith, and 3 wonderful children, Greg, Grace, and Graylin. With a remarkable career spanning over 2 decades in the field of education, Greg's passion for fostering inclusivity and equity within the school system has been the hallmark of his journey. Over the past 16 years, he has been a key contributor to the Farmington Public Schools, taking on roles as a high school teacher, middle school teacher, dual diagnosis program facilitator, assistant principal, lead principal, and currently he serves as the Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Greg's impact extends beyond the school walls as he generously shares his knowledge and expertise as a faculty member at Wayne State University in the College of Education. His unwavering commitment to the community is further evident through his active involvement with organizations like the Farmington Hills Youth and Family Foundation, where he serves to uplift and support those around him. Welcome, Greg.
Okay, good morning. I first want to start off by sharing some thank yous and some acknowledgments. First to Reverend Karen Madrone for the opportunity to come before you and share a few words relative to your theme of heritage this month. And then also to Jesse Sanchez, who is extremely patient. And if you just read the tone of the emails, you know when you need to respond. And so, but I'm grateful for this opportunity, any opportunity I have being awarded to share that someone else may be better off. I'm going to say yes to that. And so to the Universalist Unitarian Church, thank you, of Farmington, thank you for having me. And I want to lift up just a few things in my 20 to 30 minute talk here. And so, as you've heard, I am a resident of Farmington. I am just close enough to downtown to enjoy that new Canelli's. If you've been there, the desserts are crazy. And I think there's another French restaurant next to Sip that is just immaculate. Anyway, it has been an absolute pleasure. And my wife and I, we're both from Ann Arbor. And when we were working to select a home, we wanted the feel of Ann Arbor, but we just didn't want to go back. She's a therapist in the area as well. And so where we're nestled in between 8 and 9 Mile is a new subdivision off of Farmington Road where the front of our house looks like Ann Arbor's. The trees are lined with the streets are lined with trees, and you've got your, tri-levels and your colonials. And then out the back, it's like everything she wanted, which was a new area and a new home and so on and so forth. So Farmington has really been good to us. It's been good to my children as well. And so, again, that is an area of gratitude that we show, and we work constantly and diligently to give back. And so a couple of things also that you heard is that I've been in the school system here. Before I came to Farmington, I was actually a teacher in the city of Detroit. I've taught in many different areas, from the Christian private to the charter to the urban to the lockup facilities, which I don't know many of you knew that there's an actual lockup facility in the old Hustle Hospital next to DMC, and I was there for a short time. And so, and actually served as the commencement speaker from the Milan State Prison. And you may ask, like, okay, so what takes you there? And Dr. Miles Monroe once shared a quote. And the quote read, "There is nothing more powerful than a made-up mind." And so before I read that in a book or I began to research and someone shared their experiences, I wanted to go out and see it for myself. I wanted to go see what the strength and the power of a made-up mind under any circumstances would be, whether it come from a suburban background, an urban background, a religious background, no matter what. And so far, that evidence is proving to be true, that there's nothing more powerful than a made-up mind. Along this theme of heritage, I interact with this theme, and I've been doing it in my work here in Farmington on three different, or actually a couple of different realms. One is I put out a monthly newsletter, and it probably brings a little bit more stress than it should, given that I'm working to develop a voice and build a platform for many different people, many different cultures, and many different backgrounds. But I'm very proud to say that that newsletter each month is the one notification that comes from our district that is clicked on the most and opened up. In fact, every single month, their average is 16,000 Farmington residents that looks at that newsletter. And I get all of the emails, whether good, bad, or indifferent, about the publication. But then also in our elementary schools, we have these EILs. They're called Equity Instructional Needs. And what they are is full-time teachers, but a part of their work also is to acknowledge and find areas in which we can celebrate the students that we see, that we know that our kids walk into the building knowing that no matter background, no matter what they serve or what they do, they will be seen, they will be acknowledged, and they are emotionally safe. And so in that, we were working to build out these thematic pieces throughout the district relative to heritage. And then on the other end of that, in considering my own heritage, just about 2 months ago, my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. And in this conversation that she's having, now, again, I'm from Ann Arbor, 2 wonderful parents, John and Leola Smith. They had 9 children by the age of 26. Okay, So we're all 9 of us are now in this room with my mother and my father, and we're speaking about the procedures. And if you know, and if you've ever been through it, it's tough, and there's some discussions that you have to have. And one discussion came up around heritage because they say, get your affairs in order. And so we began to ask questions, but we noticed there was a point where our heritage stopped, and we didn't have answers. We didn't know where the origin was. And so I just kind of tucked that away. And as I got this opportunity to speak, I wanted to speak about that a bit further. But in the form of unlocking your past or your heritage and embracing the charge of your future, because it definitely comes with a charge. So the definition of heritage is, and I've looked up several, and I'll read some of them to you. Something that is handed down from the past, such as a tradition, a person's racial, ethnic, religious, and cultural background. Heritage features belonging to the culture of a particular society, such as traditions, language, which come from the past, and here's an important piece, are still important and relevant today. Lastly, heritage refers to a cultural, historical, and natural inheritance that is passed down from one generation to another. It encompasses the traditions, beliefs, the customs, the artifacts, even the places and practices that define and reflect the identity of a community, society, or group of people. So I ask you this morning, what is your heritage? Do you know? Some of the indicators of heritage, and you've heard some of these in what I've just read, but I'll go through them for the sake of a knowing understanding, is cultural identity, values and beliefs. Your family legacy is a part of your heritage. Cultural traditions, social context, the way in which you view the world, society, community connections, and even what inspires or even motivates you. can be connected back to your heritage. And so heritage is so important in our lives. In fact, if you've ever drawn strong emotions, good or bad emotions, when something comes against or is for your heritage, it's because your heritage lives at the depths of your iceberg. Has anyone heard the theory of the iceberg, the concept of an iceberg? Okay, all right. So for those in the room that do, great. Just hold on for a second because I'm going to explain it. In 1976, Edward T. Hall came up with this concept of an identity in a cultural iceberg, right? And so if you just think about an actual iceberg, you've kind of got the peak of that thing. And at the peak of that iceberg are like the things that you can see, right? The things that are visible and they are tangible, such as the way you dressed, the eyeglasses that you may have, right? Your behaviors, your speech, your language. It's the things that people can interact and make their judgments or base their biases off of every single day. And for these pieces, and at that peak, there's like a low emotional connection, right? So if you come and you say, well, you know what, Greg, I don't like your glasses. I'm going to say, okay, one, I need to see. But outside of that, there's not going to be a large draw of emotion from me, right? Because those things don't necessarily matter. But then if you go down to the next level of this iceberg, and it's like right up under that surface, these things are less visible. And things like your attitude, your customs, and those unspoken rules, that's where they live and that's where they exist. And in fact, now you're dealing with high emotions. So if someone questions your attitude, or if somebody says something about a custom, right, whether it be your personal identity, religious affiliation, whatever it might be, you're going to draw out a different level of emotion. And then at the very bottom, right, is like where our theme lives, like our heritage. And these things are not visible, right? If I just look at someone at the church, right, you don't necessarily know their beliefs. You don't know their traditions. You don't know what they value. You don't know what they're fearful of. You don't know where their unconscious bias lives. You don't know what their life structures are. But also at the bottom is like the intense emotion, right? And so I mention those pieces because heritage, if you would hold up some of those definitions, is essentially taking something that is important from the past and moving it into our present and preparing it for the future, right? So there's this transfer in a sense. And so as we look at that, we've got to understand that heritage, in a sense, means access, right? I'm giving you access to information and knowledge that you know or you may not be aware of. And what happens is with our emotions and why they're tied there within this iceberg is the higher the emotion, the less the access you get, right? And that's just natural. Like it's just our brains. It's how we function. It doesn't matter where you go. Like your brain has like one objective. And that objective is to stay alive. It will allow you to eat and read and listen to music. It will allow you to go for a run and do whatever. But if anything threatens that, it's going to cut off access, right? Heritage, in a sense, means access. And again, along those lines of what the point of fear and high emotions play is like and this is the way I explain it to the staff, like the amygdala, right, like kind of sits in the center of your brain and it communicates to your nervous system of whether you need to provide access or whether you need to close yourself off and get out of there, right? And so the issue is that we close off access to one another. We close off access from generation to generation. And the piece around this and the importance of the iceberg and understanding your own iceberg is to make sure that those triggers don't have you to cut things off that you should be giving to the next generation, the good that you should be sharing. But it is very important. So again, the three levels of that iceberg, or whether it be cultural or identity, is the top level is the visibility, right? You can see those things. The next level is being, less visible, your attitudes, customs, and unspoken rules. And then at the bottom, again, is where we're living with heritage. And that's why it's so important. That's why it means so much for us to represent our heritage and pass the good that is going forward. But there's something that we must do in acknowledging and recognizing and identifying the things of our heritage that we want to move forward. There's this word that I would like to lift up. And if I go back to my title, this is the charge in itself. And in fact, I don't think I brought it with me, but it was in the mission statement. It was, what was it? Looking for answers or questioning every... Yeah, seeking answers everywhere, right? And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is like totally connecting in a sense. But I want you to lift up this word and consider this word epistemology. And what that word means is the investigation of what distinguishes what is justified belief and what is just an opinion. When we consider our heritage, when we consider the things that we are moving forward, epistemology is the process that your mind has made to determine what it knows to be true. How do you know what it is you know? Why do you value the things that you value? Have you ever looked those pieces up and examined them? For the good of you, for the good of everyone that is connected to you, and for the good of those around you. And so that's something that we often must consider in celebrating heritage, because it's very, very easy to celebrate our heritage. And so we lift these things up. And the truth is that it's an easy and gratifying thing to do because, for an example, if I was to give you your 10th grade yearbook, right? Take yourself back to that moment, right? What's the first, what's the first page you turn to? You probably look for yourself, right? Right. Ask yourself, what's the next thing you look for? Your girlfriend that you had a crush on. Along those lines, you look for someone that understood where you were at the depths, that third tier, where you had a deep emotional or intense emotional connection. That could be a friend. That could be a family member, right? It could also be one of your teachers. You would also begin to look for the person that gave you that deep emotional connection or that intense emotional connection for the wrong reason. And you would say, what are they doing now? I hope they've made some good out of their life because they made mine a living. So in all things, understanding that the review, looking into the criticality around looking at why you believe what you believe, how you know, and you've come to this point of your truth, understanding why you value what you value only deepens and anchors who you are. We throw around these words like empathy and that's tough. Empathy's not easy, right? We can always just kind of, there's a level of compassion that I have. But empathy is I'm going to walk in your shoes. But what if my lineage or experiences of my heritage and everything that says I got to step outside of that to see where you're at right now, to find where you're hurting. And so it's very, very important to know in which we've come from, how we've got there, and how we plan to move forward. And as I close, I feel like this has gone very, very quickly. As we consider the good of our culture, the good of our traditions, the good of who we are, the celebration of our heritage, we might take a moment to stop and reflect to ensure that what is being transferred is not only good for those represented within that heritage, but also for others. Might we be resilient enough to carry on the light that means us well, all well, and courageous, but also courageous enough to interrupt what is not? There was a profound moment that I had with one of my students. And to set the scope, I had a student panel, and there were probably 200 people in the room listening to the students. And one of the parents or the onlookers looked on, and we were talking around characteristics that kind of moved our societies forward. And one of the parents questioned or had a question of, what do you guys do with all the negativity that you see, right? What do you do? And this student, Anaya, she said something that was just so profound. She says, once that rock is thrown in the water, it creates a ripple. And you can't stop the ripple no matter what you do, but you can create a larger one. And I'm like, oh man, that needs to go on a t-shirt, like immediately. And essentially, that's what it is. As I began to study and look into the Universalist Unitarian Church, it's individuals that are firm in what they believe. And that belief may not be what everybody else's belief is, but their arms remain open, their hearts remain open, their minds remain open to accept everyone that may come and experience. You see it along the room. The joys of who we are. In that, and in every opportunity that you have, and those opportunities come daily, whether with yourself, with your families, with your children, with those that you work with or you may see in your neighbors. Always work to create a larger ripple. That ripple can be of love, of compassion, of empathy, but it's one that will pay dividends as you move along the good of your heritage. Thank you.
A perfect heart is one that has known love and loss, joy and sorrow. The perfect heart is one that has been shared. As joys and sorrows of our community are shared, please direct your energy, prayers, and meditations as a gift of compassion and strength. Anyone would like to come forward? We got Tom coming up. of the gathered community that can support you and bring you peace. To the work of this congregation, which is creating beloved community within our and beyond our walls, we dedicate ourselves and our offerings. That was really fun. Well, we'll do our best as we rise, if you're willing and able, for our hymn from the Gray hymnal number 318, We Would Be One. We would be one as now we join in singing our hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew to that high cause of greater understanding of who we are and what's in us is true. We would be one in living for each other to show to all a new community. We would be one in building for tomorrow strive to make us free. If here you have found freedom, take it with you into the world. If you have found comfort, go and share it with others. If you have dreamed dreams, help one another that they may come true. If you have known love, give some back to a bruised and hurting world. Go in peace.